Hi everyone, welcome back to the Plant Stock channel, the channel where we mainly focus on plant-based companies and stocks. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jesse and tonight we're going to take a quick look why Beyond Meat plummeted like a meteorite. Now, is it only related to the fact that the earnings call was a disappointment to many investors, or could it have anything to do with the fact that McDonald's did not mention them in regards to their new plant-based burger that is supposed to be released next year? Is it possible that McDonald's is planning to release this product with another plant-based company? Could it be the Very Good Food Company? Now, these are some of the things that we'll be focusing on tonight. And at the end of the movie, I will also share with you if I believe that Beyond is a buy at the moment, or if you need to skedaddle. Stay tuned. So, first of all, one of the current larger factors why the stock plummeted is related to their recent earnings call. Last quarter, their sales were up 192% year over year, but the latest quarter, they landed on 39%, which was a shock to many. Personally, I don't get why anyone should be surprised considering Roni Rona. Now, what are the reasons behind this? Well, if we take a look at this Bloomberg opinion piece here, sales growth was held back by aggressive promotions aimed at getting more shoppers to try their product, and intense competition likely also played a role. Meanwhile, revenue from its food services unit slumped as restaurants remained challenged. And this is not strange, right? This is the Roni Rona times. We need to consider that as an important factor. But another interesting factor, according to the CEO, is the secondary effect that has to do with initial wave of pantry loading. Well, what does he mean by this? Well, what he means is that America's freezers were full, making it harder for its lineup of plant-based meat alternatives to get on the shopping list. The stock plunged 15%. Well, actually, it was higher at one point. So in other words, what this means is that America's population, like most of the world probably, got nervous when the first wave hit. We all stockpiled as much as we could, including the freezers. And this led to people having enough food at the moment. This is obviously not only related to companies such as Beyond Meat. If we take a look at here, other consumer staple companies such as Colgate and Palmolive, GM Smucker and Co., areas with the feminine care aisles are at, all of these areas, with more obviously, were affected. As many of you might already know, McDonald's and Beyond have been collaborating off and on in the past. Before summer, a lot of people expected that McDonald's would announce that Beyond Meat would be their partner in their future endeavor to create a plant-based burger. This would obviously be a huge deal for Beyond. After a short trial of using their product in Canada, they announced that they wouldn't continue their effort with creating a plant-based version. At that time, a lot of disappointed Beyond investors took their money and fled to the hills, probably much like the scene from Deep Impact. Now, although they didn't get the deal with McDonald's, according to a claim from Vegan Food UK, they have still managed to strike a local deal with McDonald's UK. As of yet, this does not seem to be confirmed, neither by Beyond Meat or McDonald's. And now it seems to be on the agenda once again, that Beyond might get a much larger deal than before. And it seems that several investors have been expecting this deal to turn up. Yet, just a few days ago, Mickey D announced that they would start selling a plant-based product. About time, considering that several other bigger burger joints have already jumped on that train. However, they haven't confirmed who this player is. Yes, They have stated that they won't be supplying the burger themselves. Nonetheless, they did not mention any specific company.
We see plant-based as being something that is here to stay. The question of when McDonald's would get into it is the only question. It was never a question of if. And we did a variety of consumer testing, as we always do at McDonald's, about a whole bunch of names, and then came out of that came McPlant. So a pretty straightforward name, but what it worked for was consumers had a clear understanding of what it was all about. And it was a product, it was a name that was flexible enough to work on burgers, to work on chicken substitute products, to be something we perhaps would bring into breakfast. So a very versatile trademark. And then how it gets deployed is going to be up to each market.
Can I pin you down on Beyond Meat's involvement? What are they doing, if anything?
Well, we are fortunate at McDonald's. We've got a great group of suppliers that we work with. In many cases, we work with a couple different suppliers in product categories. As you referenced, we have a relationship with McPlant or with Beyond Meat, where they supported us in our Canadian test market. We haven't made a decision about how we're going to be and which suppliers are going to be supporting our global rollout there. So I don't want to comment on that.
Well, this shocked a lot of investors, considering that Beyond Meat's CEO, Ethan Brown, has been tiptoeing around the idea that both companies are still collaborating, something that was mentioned during his earnings call. Guys, if you want a link to the earnings call, please let me know down in the comments. So, I did have a theory, brief as it may have been, that since they stopped collaborating with Beyond just before summer and the trial period was in Canada, could it be possible that Mickey D is collaborating with Canada's own favorite son, Very My Berry, the very good food company? As many of you might already be aware of, the Very Good Food Company has recently skyrocketed out of the planet. We do know some of the factors why that may be. Take a look at my former video if you need more information. But is it possible that it could be related to something even bigger, namely McDonald's? Very is getting more and more deals on the table, more attention than ever. They're expanding and they do have big plans for the near-term future. Do I feel that this is a realistic outlook? No, I do not. The company is still in its infancy, and I cannot believe that Mickey D would take such a risk on a company that is as of yet unproven on an international level. Furthermore, CEO Mitchell Scott has stated that they are not interested in mimicking real meat burgers. They want their product to be a great tasting plant-based burger in its own right. For that very reason on its own, no pun intended, it seems very unlikely that McDonald's would choose a product that doesn't, to some extent, mimic the flavors of meat. Traditionally, people do choose McDonald's because they enjoy their burgers, so it stands to reason that it is a similar taste that many people are expecting, not only taste but also the texture of the product. Because let's face it, it's not only the vegans or the vegetarians that are going to buy this new plant-based substitute. More than likely, I believe that it is your typical meat-loving person who is more health and environmental conscious and wants to cut back on meat who will be buying their product. Very is going to do great on their own merit, no matter what. Drum rolls, please. In steps Beyond Meat. In other words, I still believe that it is Beyond that is the likely candidate. We can talk about other plant-based brands all we want. There is no other plant-based product which brand name is more recognized in the world than Beyond Meat. Mickey D is all about the money, and they, like so many other restaurants and food services, took a big beating from the pandemic and probably will keep doing so in the near term. They need to find newer markets to profit from, and they are not blind to this new trend that is growing more and more, and likely got a huge boost during this ongoing pandemic. The trend that is here to stay and will keep growing. So in my humble opinion, it makes more financial sense to choose the brand that is more recognizable, both as a brand and as a meat replacement. Is this 100% guarantee? Of course not. Very few things in life seldom are, but given the facts we have, in my opinion, it seems likely. And even if they don't get the deal at this time, in the long run, I don't believe it will matter. They will have a lot of other opportunities. Just recently, they got a deal with Pizza Hut, and that is nationwide in the US. Hopefully, that will be an ongoing endeavor. Is Beyond a buy today? Heck yeah. If anything, you're getting it at a discount. Just recently, it was up at almost $200, and at the recording of this video, it is here. Is there a chance that their stock will drop more during the pandemic? Sure there is. Considering that the pandemic might be with us for quite some time, I think we can expect that the whole market will be volatile in the next couple of months, if not longer. But being in the food space, being connected to restaurants and stores, they might be even more vulnerable than several other forms of companies. And before President-elect Biden takes his rightful place in the White House, this may also contribute to the overall volatility. The price of the stock at the moment is great, but if it falls further, well, then that should just be an even bigger reason to keep buying more, folks. Dollar cost average, as always. If you invest for the long term, you're golden in my opinion. Don't try to time the market, guys. Statistically, long-term holders tend to gain more profits than short-term. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. The plant-based space is going to be a market that is worth several $trillion in the coming years, in my opinion. Most, if not all plant-based companies will prosper in the coming decades. And considering that Beyond Meat is by far the leader in this market, much like Tesla in the EV space, having no real competition at the moment, they are bound to see fantastic results and a lot of gains. I can't see them doing anything below 10xing in the next decade, and more than likely more than that. Tesla will control the overall auto industry, and they will be electrifying our homes. Beyond Meat will be on the forefront when it comes to putting food on our table. The future is here, and this is only the beginning. Well, guys, I truly hope you got some value from this video, and if you did, please don't hesitate, hit that subscribe button. So what do you say, guys? Let's get that message out there, that you can make a lot of profits and still feel good about it, that you can contribute to making the planet healthy again. Peace out.